Ned Nwoko is a seasoned politician and a political figure, also a public figure, as you know. So how do you think someone of his stature could have managed this situation more gracefully without fueling public drama or blame?
Okay. Thank you very much for having me here again. Personally, I think I don't want to be judgmental, so I hope nobody takes my statements the wrong way. I think as a seasoned politician, a legislator, a seventh senator, a lawyer, like another statesman, I think he should have handled it more gracefully. By that question, we all subtly agree that he didn't do justice to his response. You know, I feel like he should have waited a bit. You know, leadership skills are tested in troubled waters, not calm waters. You know, I think he should have waited a bit, not trying to seek social media validation and all that. He should have issued a response, a statement that would have protected family virtues, you know, not throwing his beloved under the bus in a minute. So personally, this is my personal thoughts. I feel like his statements were childish. He should have acted from the protective point of view, not the defensive and aggressive point of view. His statement, as long as I'm concerned, was uncalled for, was not right. It further showed that he had failed as a husband, as a mentor, you know, even as a senator. Because charity, they say, begins at home. Leadership begins at home. So if that was your first response in such a chaotic situation, only God knows what they do right there in the National Assembly.
But some can
argue. You see, I keep mentioning personally. These are my thoughts. I feel like he could have responded with more grace.
Okay,
you know, if he needed to respond. Yes, there was no need for that immediate response.
Okay, if you say that, but then again, you know, on impulse, don't you think he would have wanted to defend himself to a certain extent, which is why he explained?
Of course.
Because he made it sound, listen, he made it sound like he had been long suffering with this accommodation of her excessive usage of drugs. I'm not justifying or supporting anybody in this case. I'm just saying, do you think he was pressed to release that against his better judgment? Do you think he was pressed to release that information?
Leadership skills, he wasn't pressed. There's nothing pressing about it. You know, silence in such situation breeds future respect. You know, the respect that comes from silence in this kind of situation along, how do I explain it now? In the future, people will respect you more if you had kept quiet in a time like this. I don't think there was any need for that immediate statement. There was nothing to defend there. Silence, you know, focus on your family. From the story we heard, a child was sick. Something is going on. You are the head of the house. This lady you are married to is 40 years younger than you. Focus on your family. Find a way to, you know, package your family in a way that it will not be an object of ridicule, even in future. In a second, you just came out to admit that your wife is a drug user. That is not right. So I think, personally, I also feel like Ned Nwoko loves the social media. He loves social media validation. And that is what happened there. He was trying to look for social media validation. So I feel, I stand on my ground, that his response was not graceful enough. His response was too quick. And his response showed less of fatherly role.
Get back to Dr. Mamina and your house. They say to whom much is given, much is expected. There are claims that when Ned Nwoko's wife tried to leave, he withholds the children. So in a marriage where a partner holds all the power and women often shrink, to keep the peace, how can they reclaim their voice and worth without being seen as rebellious?
You know, when you cry for help, that cry for help is a cry for autonomy, cry for power. So it's not being rebellious. It's that last cry that I need help. Like the question you asked earlier on, why did he have to respond? He didn't have to respond. You cannot throw your wife under the bus just at the blink of just something. How can you be saying that she's a drug addict? Was she a drug addict before she entered the marriage? Just at the question that if you bring it to the society should also ask you those kind of questions. If she was a drug addict before the marriage, how have you helped her in rehabilitation. So
He
now
claims that he tried to help her.
We need a lot of questions because he's a politician, he's a leader, he's in the Senate. So he owes us. If he's bringing it to the public, we have to also give him back to him. But the truth here is that holding children, that's emotional imprisonment. You can't hold children. And if the wife decides to come out and speak, that is a cry for help. And we need to help know what the challenges are. You cannot hold children and as a bait. That is manipulation. And we also need to know, from a psychiatric point of view, half of all mental illnesses start before the age of 14. I've said this on this program, maybe like this is the 5th time. And 2/3 before the age of 24. What are you teaching those children right now? What are they seeing? What public validation are they seeing that the parents are? Let's not forget, internet doesn't forget things. So they are going to grow up to see these things that they are all over the internet. And how are they going to view relationship? How are they going to view power? How are they going to view family values? And these are the things that need to be put in place. So when a woman eventually shouts and say, look, there's a cry for help, we the society shouldn't silence her. We the society shouldn't look at it as if she is seeking for validation or seeking for whatever it is. We should build, a culture of compassion. We should eliminate that gossip culture and invite a compassion culture so that we can build safe spaces for such people to speak up and get the help that they need.
Yeah, but is it out of place for men like Ned Nwoko to feel entitled? Because when you're the one paying the bills, you're the one picking the tabs, your voice must be heard. Your voice must be heard. Even if you recall, even when families lose a parent or whatever. Yeah. So usually it's not the eldest person that has the loudest voice. That has the money. It's the person that has the money. Yeah. So when you have that dominance, such powerful dominance, is it unnatural for him to expect? I'm not playing the devil's advocate here. I'm just being neutral and objective. Is it out of place for him to expect that everything he says must be law?
Everything he says mustn't be law. We also have to...
No, but you agree that is what normally is.
Exactly. That is what we have been seeing. This is what the society has been projecting, the culture and the gender norms that do not favor women. But the truth is that we also have to look at the system that should also look at men that are broken but powerful. What system helps such people that are broken and powerful to get the help that they need? You don't have to shout it out. You have to do what it is. That this is where emotional intelligence takes place. Emotional intelligence
on whose part? The woman's part?
The man's part, the woman's part. Because if there's an age gap marriage, it takes a lot for you as a man to do what is right. This girl is still going to behave her age. She is still young. She's still going to do all the paparazzi, the Gen Z, the social media, whatever. But you are way older. You are more like a grandfather. You should add your age. You should add the values that you bring. You should be the bigger person here. You shouldn't at any instance be putting up. Do you know what the power of silence is? Let us be the one to say, what is he thinking about? What is he doing? How is he helping? Rather than just coming within hours of an issue, you already sending out almost like a disclaimer. She's a drug addict and I'll be sending out rehabilitation. She has to go back, and if she doesn't continue her rehabilitation, what are you trying to tell us? You are not in charge of your home.
Another thing I want to wonder, as we're talking, that crossed my mind, is that on one hand, there's the perception, I keep using the word perception because we're not in the union, that he accommodated her youthful exuberance just to at least be on the same page with her. And then there are those who now argue that accommodating that youthful exuberance is what has resulted to this. How do you find a balance as a much older man?
So that is where we are talking about control. We are talking about admiration. You know, when you crave for admiration, it marks deep-seated insecurities. So we shouldn't look at it as you accommodated. It's your own free will. You went and married somebody that's 30, 40 years younger than you.
Hence the word accommodate, because he knew that these were going to come with...
So you must accommodate.
But they said he did.
It's like, okay, and see, Auntie Ruth, I have a child that I have given birth to at 25. So I'm 25 years older than that child. The child wants to eat. The child is pouring water on me. I will accommodate all that nonsense that the child brings. And that's automatic. You are not going... Even if you beat that child is going to act his or her age.
Yes, which is natural.
Which is natural.
He's doing natural.
So he has to be the person to put the home
so
front
it should be
in
the
place.
father, the
Should
lover,
be
the
lover,
guardian,
the
everything
carer,
all in one.
like the
After
prophet
all,
that
you're
says
the one
you
that
beat a
created
child.
snatch.
Exactly. If you beat a child with one hand, you use the other hand
To
to bring.
drag the person.
So you should be the one to let us know that you are saving this marriage. You are helping to make sure that this marriage is still. So because between the two of them, there is that truth that we do not know. And that truth is what we, the society, is what we build in our homes. They are the values we endorse, and they are the brokenness that we normalize.
Okay. Let me get back to